Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. My name's Ethan, and I never thought a single text message could end a relationship I once thought would last forever. I was sitting on the couch that Friday night, half watching a documentary when my phone buzzed. It was Lily. She texted, "Going on a trip with my ex this weekend. Don't be jealous." That smiley face on it wasn't innocent. It was careless, dismissive, like she knew it would sting but didn't care enough to soften the blow. For a second, I just stared at the screen, reading it again and again, wondering if I was misunderstanding something. We'd been together 2 years, not perfect but steady. We laughed, we argued, we shared bills, holidays, Sunday mornings. I thought we were past the stage of testing each other's limits. Apparently I was wrong. I typed back, "Don't worry, I won't be here when you get back." No emojis. No punctuation beyond the period. Just finality. She didn't respond. Not for 10 minutes, then 20, then an hour. When she finally did, all I got was, "Wow." Overreacting much? That word, overreacting, hit harder than the text itself. Because it told me something deeper. She didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as someone whose boundaries could be toyed with for amusement. I put my phone down and looked around the apartment. Her coffee mug was still on the counter. Her shoes by the door. A sweater she'd borrowed from me draped over the chair. It all felt temporary now, like props in a play that was ending its final act. The next morning, I packed. Slowly, quietly. Not out of rage. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was clear. I folded my clothes, unplugged my charger, even watered the plant she'd bought before realizing she couldn't keep anything alive for more than a week. While I was taping the last box, my phone buzzed again. "So you're seriously leaving over a little trip?" "It's just a few days, Ethan, just a few days." With her ex. Someone she'd spent 3 years with and still kept in touch with because they were mature adults. I used to believe that, or at least tried to. But maturity doesn't mean rewriting history with someone who once loved you. It means respecting the boundaries of the person who loves you now. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent myself a photo of the apartment, the living room, half-empty boxes, the morning light cutting through the blinds, just so I'd remember this moment. The exact second I realized love without respect isn't love at all. Lily showed up that evening, suitcase in hand, already dressed for her trip. She looked surprised to find me still there, and even more surprised to see the boxes. "What is this?" she asked, dropping her bag. Her tone was defensive, not regretful. That told me everything. "This," I said quietly, "is what happens when you test someone who was never playing games." She laughed. Not a mocking laugh, more like disbelief. "Oh, come on, Ethan, it's just Jake. We've been friends forever. You're really going to act like some insecure boyfriend now." "Insecure?" I repeated. "You texted me that you're going on a trip with your ex and not asked, told, and then said not to be jealous. That's not communication, Lily, that's provocation." She crossed her arms. "You're blowing this out of proportion." I smiled, not out of humor, but out of final understanding. Because in that moment I realized she didn't even want to understand. Some people argue for peace. Others argue to win. She was the latter. I left that night, not in anger, not in drama, just quietly. The drive to my brother's place was long and silent. The radio was off. My thoughts weren't loud, and they were heavy. I replayed everything. The first time we met at that coffee shop, how she laughed at my terrible jokes, how we'd spend nights talking about everything and nothing. But somewhere between those conversations and that text message, she stopped seeing me as her partner. She started seeing me as her audience and someone to react, someone to validate her freedom. That realization didn't break me. It freed me. When I reached my brother's apartment, I turned my phone off. Not airplane mode, off. I wanted peace, not interruptions disguised as apologies. That night, for the first time in months, I slept through without checking my phone. And that silence, it didn't feel empty. It felt earned. 3 days passed before I turned my phone back on. No missed calls from her, just a few texts. "Guess you're serious about this." "You're being ridiculous." "Fine, do whatever you want." Not once did she say she was sorry. I wasn't expecting a cinematic apology, but a simple acknowledgement I crossed a line would have meant something. Instead, her pride typed faster than her conscience. I didn't respond. I didn't even delete the messages. I wanted them there, reminders of the moment someone showed me exactly how much I mattered. A week later, I got a text from her friend Emma, someone I actually liked. She wrote, "She came back from that trip early. Doesn't seem too happy. Just thought you should know." I read it twice, smiled faintly, and set my phone down. It wasn't satisfaction. It was confirmation. Sometimes you have to walk away so someone can hear the echo of their own choices. 2 days after that, Lily showed up at my brother's place. No text, no call, just a knock on the door. When I opened it, she looked smaller somehow. Same clothes, same face, but her confidence had cracks in it now. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly. I stepped aside. "Sure." She sat on the couch the same way she used to when she wanted to prove a point, except this time there was no point left to prove. "I didn't actually go on that trip," she began. "I packed, but I couldn't do it. I realized how it would look." "Then why send the text?" I asked. She hesitated, looking down at her hands. "I don't know. I thought maybe you'd react, show that you cared. You've been distant lately, Ethan." I laughed, softly but without amusement. "So you tested me by telling me you were going away with your ex?" She sighed. "It was stupid, I know. But I didn't mean it literally." "Maybe not," I said. "But the damage was literal." She looked up then, eyes wet, expression crumbling under her own realization. "I just wanted attention," she whispered. "I didn't think you'd actually leave." That line hung in the air like smoke from a dying fire. I sat across from her, not angry, not vindictive, just tired. "You didn't think I'd leave because you assumed my love meant I'd tolerate anything," I said. "You confused loyalty with blindness." She wiped her eyes. "Can we just start over? Please?" I shook my head slowly. "I don't think you understand. When I walked out that night, I didn't do it to hurt you. I did it because I finally saw what you were doing to me." She stood up, desperate now. "I messed up, Ethan, I get it. I'll block him, I interrupted. "This isn't about him." "It never was. It's about the way you see respect as optional." Her lips parted, but no words came out. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The silence wasn't heavy, and it was honest. Finally, I said, "You know what hurts the most? I wanted us to be the kind of couple that didn't need to play games to feel secure." She nodded, tears streaking down her face. "You were. I wasn't." That was the truest thing she'd said in months. When she left that evening, she didn't slam the door. She just whispered, "I'm sorry," before stepping out. It wasn't loud, but it was real. Maybe too late, but real. I watched her walk down the street, that same suitcase rolling behind her, except this time she wasn't heading to an airport. Just away. Weeks passed. The apartment I moved into was small but peaceful. I started cooking again, jogging in the mornings, rediscovering the quiet routines that had always grounded me before the noise of someone else's chaos took over. Sometimes, I'd get the urge to text her, not out of longing, but habit. Then I'd remember that message she sent, the one with the little smiley face, and how something so small could reveal so much truth. It reminded me that love isn't tested by jealousy. It's tested by respect. One night, while cleaning, I found an old photo of us at the lake, both smiling, sun in our eyes. For a second, I missed who we were. Not her, but us before the cracks. I didn't tear the photo. I just put it in a box labeled "Before" and slid it under the bed, because that's where it belonged. Not erased, just finished. A few months later, I ran into Emma again at a coffee shop. She smiled awkwardly and said, "She's doing okay. Moved to another city. Said you were the one person she never should have tried to test." I nodded. I hope she finds what she's looking for. And I meant it because by then, I already had peace. Not the kind that comes from winning an argument or proving a point, but the kind that comes from finally knowing your worth doesn't depend on someone else recognizing it. That text, the one that ended, it all used to make me angry. Now it just makes me grateful. Because when she said, "Don't be jealous," she was really saying, "Don't expect loyalty." And when I replied, "I won't be here when you get back," I wasn't making a threat. I was making a promise unto myself.